Look at
survived it survived all the rain
the
and all
body
the body bag. Get him a body bag.
It's looking good. We're gonna put some
Yeah.
ornaments on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's looking pretty good. The floors are all jacked up from all the flock, but
Yeah.
it's that time of year, and we're winding down while AI is winding up.
Winding up. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're a little late to the party here, but man, there was some drama that happened last weekend,
Yes.
right?
Big time.
With AI.
Yes. And you'll probably see all about it if you watch it in the next Netflix
Yeah,
series, I'm sure.
you would
Already.
definitely. There's definitely a Netflix series in the works right now.
Absolutely.
Sam Altman. And to be honest with you, I was already thinking of titles for this. We Crashed
Yes.
and Super Pumped,
Right.
right? And so I'm like, man, there's got to be something clever that can come out of this.
Uh-huh.
I haven't thought of one yet, but there's certainly people in the writers' room right now. But how about this? Is a better idea. You do Silicon Valley, whole new
Yes, dude. Yes.
whole new show,
Yes.
whole new cast,
Yes.
except you keep certain people like Russ Handman,
Yes.
maybe some people from Rabiga,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
But just
The
do a
BC
whole,
stay.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ehrlich, all that stuff, Pied Piper, the Toast.
Yeah.
Maybe you cameo some of them back.
Yeah, you can bring it back here and there. Yeah. Just to,
But you just start over.
yeah.
Gone. We bring in a new startup, new incubator that's doing all AI.
Yes.
And then fully getting into AI,
Yes.
right?
And screwing it up.
And stirring it up. And maybe even taking some of the Sam Altman drama,
Yes.
putting that in the show,
Oh,
firing a CEO,
yes.
and then threatening to take 500 employees
Yes.
to Holy,
Right.
right?
Or some
Like hiring Holy the next Holy hiring this guy the next day,
Yes.
potentially with 500 of the whole team.
Yes.
Is it saying, never mind.
Never mind. Right.
Coming back.
Then they go work for Microsoft.
Yeah.
Or remember, there's that whole debacle too. This is probably last year, where the guy from Google thought that it become sentient. Remember that? He's
Yes.
like this whistleblower. Like,
Yeah.
You know,
Uh-huh.
So there's all these people that are like convinced it's alive.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Trying
They
to
get
get it out. Yeah.
They're like, hey man,
Yeah.
they didn't think he was crazy. They were like,
Yeah. Right. Like, no, they didn't refute it.
No.
They just like,
no, he's happy. But yeah, that's
dude,
kind of
that's a cheat. Honestly, like that could
come
be
on,
like
bro.
that could just go on forever. You know.
Yes. I mean, how many seasons of Silicon Valley was there? Like 4?
4, and it didn't need to be.
No.
But if you did every season, you could just do a different startup. You know.
Yes.
You know. And just
Dude, that show can go on forever.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hope HBO is listening.
Yeah.
What's
his name?
I didn't come up with this. Like
Mike
Judge. Yeah.
Judge. Yeah.
I tagged him on X.
Did you?
Yeah, I sure did.
Hey.
But like J. Cal said it. I mean, I thought of it, and then when I went to X, and I thought it was, clever, and other people were saying the same. I've been saying the same thing. But like, come on, HBO. Like,
Yeah.
there's so much content.
Yeah. It's just
So much content. It's like the Valley has gone from what it was to Ghost Town to now, Foe coming back.
Yeah.
There's content
Just
in
in
that alone.
in that. Yeah.
You
Just
know?
in that. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Even just like the coronavirus, everyone working from home.
Yeah.
Do like a whole like segment on like how that went, and
Totally.
a whole episode on how everyone was working from home and sleeping
Dude,
in. and,
oh my god.
I mean, right? Like the whole thing, dude.
It's so good. It would be so good.
So,
But yeah, Sam Altman's back.
Yep.
OpenAI is fine, at least for now.
the board is new. Is that what
The
the
board is new, apparently. I don't know what that means. Some of the stuff I've been reading is more along the lines of disagreement in how aggressive Sam's being with go-to-market and bringing this stuff forward. And the board is, again, there's different sources everywhere. We don't know what's true. But I can imagine there's disagreements around governance and speed, right? And so what do you do if you're OpenAI or a company that's rapidly progressing their models? I'm talking about AGI next year and all this crazy stuff. And then there's other people calling for governments, saying we need it, we need regulation. And then there's others that are on the other camp. They're like, what are you talking about? We're America. We're going to stifle our innovation. And if we do that, it's not like China or Russia are going to do it if we do it. You know what I mean?
Well, but those companies would go. I think they would go abroad before they'd stop.
Oh, 100%. I think so.
Right. And
Right. But there's people in those companies calling for self-governance.
yes,
And that's the problem, right?
Yeah.
Because it's causing some inside.
yeah, exactly, some tension.
Right.
But yeah, I've even heard of there's a one of these startups that's trying to work out of international waters, like out in the ocean. So
Dang.
oh,
Imagine that.
yeah,
Just get some Starlink,
yeah,
right?
yeah. All you need is a floating thing with some servers on it. I mean, and a satellite.
Yeah.
And you're a business. I mean, you don't even need a person out there.
Oh.
So yeah. So I mean, you if the environment gets to be too restrictive, then absolutely you're going to see people try to find ways around it. You know, and because but I think right now I'm sort of like thinking, yeah, there probably are things that we should look at. I think the big question right now is over copyrights and trademarks
Sure.
and intellectual property. Like I was asking ChatGPT some stuff the other day, and it would only go so far. It would be like, I can summarize this for you, but I can't provide the actual source text because I'm guessing that would infringe on copyright. But I'm like, but it has access to it, so it's a sort of weird gray area. You know, like where is this? You know, like whose library is it going through?
Right.
You know, and then what happens to the stuff that comes out of it?
Yeah.
What is that? So one of the startups we're working with does generative AI imagery. Legal ramifications, because as it stands now, there's rules that say you can't actually, that computer generates artwork. It's not copyrighted. It has no copyright. So places like Midjourney have taken this sort of thing where it's all public. So there's no copyright. So I could go on, take someone else's artwork, turn around and sell it.
Yep.
And take all the money, right? Without even being the owner getting permission or anything. So that hasn't really happened yet, but I foresee at some point, you know, the stuff will get worked out. But I do think it's important that the regulation not get too excited for us, you know. And I feel like right now we're seeing. Did you see that whole thing with the crypto exchange?
Yes. Is it
Binance?
Binance?
Binance, dude, they got wrecked.
Is the CEO? Isn't he in trouble?
Yeah, it's like he's
Did
like,
you see the Forbes curse?
No, is it on the cover? He's on the cover.
It's on the cover.
Ah,
Forbes, along
see.
with,
Elizabeth
Elizabeth
Holmes.
Holmes, Adam Newman, Sam
Bankman-Fried.
Bankman-Fried. Now this guy. Somebody
Yeah.
posted a picture. Here it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's somebody called it the Forbes curse.
Oh, dude, for real.
And I have to look and see, but well, I wouldn't put Travis in that. No, the other ones are aside from Adam Newman, they're all criminal.
Yeah.
Adam Newman, you're more like, you just look at it, a little sideways.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, the company did go bankrupt, and he walked away with
Billions,
$1 billion.
yeah, billions, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that was really interesting because, well, what was interesting about that whole thing with Binance,
But what happens to that whole exchange?
dude, they owe billions of dollars. Like they said it's the biggest fine that the SEC or whoever has ever levied. And so they even said too that they're going to have to go and pay back all these people. Anyway, it's crazy. But I think even the CEO is charged with a felony, you know, and and pleaded guilty. So that apparently, you know, asking for leniency. But that was a whole, to me, and I don't know, again, I'm not a lawyer, legal expert or anything, but if I remember correctly, Binance was actually working with the government. Like they proactively sort of said, okay, look, we know we might be crossing some lines. So we're going to work with the government and try to figure out what this regulation should be for crypto. And it feels a little bit like, it felt like a trick, because now they got close enough and then the government's like, okay, snap. It didn't feel legitimate in how that was approached, because it didn't sound like there was, maybe there was a bit of a warning, but the rules around crypto are so loose anyway. And so it really comes down to this definition of, is it a security, right? Is it a security or is it not? Because if it's a security, then certain things follow. Or is it a currency? And so the things are very different in how they're defined. All it really took was someone to say it's a security, and then all of a sudden now you're out of regulation, you know, in a million ways.
Right.
And I think that was the debate. Like, were they going to side that way? Once they did, it was gigs up. But now those exchanges, sure, they exist globally, but now the rule applies to the United States only, right? So will Binance exist? Sure. But will it do business in the United States? And in what form? Who knows?
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Because then what's going to happen to those other exchanges in the United States, right? Either they're going to close up or move overseas, you know. So we don't want to get locked out of that. But it's possible.
Yes. Well, I mean, I'll put it out there. We got hosed on Gemini. On using their what do you call it? Their institutional product. We signed up as a
That's right.
company,
That's right.
and we invested
That's right.
last year,
Yes.
and then because we were playing a long game,
Right.
it's going to sit there, and we might as well stake it. And so we put it in their stake program. So it's going to yield us 3 to 7% something, which is pretty good for crypto. In Bitcoin and Ethereum, and maybe one or two other ones. We had, it wasn't nothing. It was, you know, over 10 grand. And so kind of like what you're saying, right? That Gemini is just, they're the platform in a sense. It has to be backed by something. You're staking, especially. So what you do when you're staking is they're investing the money. It's not that it's just sitting in the wallet. Once we hit stake their earned product, then they take the money and
They go invest it. Yeah.
Well, whatever that shell is, or whatever that third party that's doing that, filed for bankruptcy. So they couldn't, whatever it is, they couldn't meet their, you know, their obligation, or whatever. Whenever the call came, you know, that you have to pay up, they couldn't do it. And so there was a little bit, something shady was going on there too. And so all our whole, basically our whole account has been
Frozen. Right?
frozen. Yeah, it says pending redemption. And it's basically, if you go and log in now, it just says, it just has updates on the bankruptcy filing. And it's been almost a year.
Yeah.
And so I check it periodically, every couple of months. It's just a new update. Now it's in court, now the judge, now this. And they're claiming that they're going to try to get 100 to 110% back to us. But that's not guaranteed. It could be that, hey, we'll give you 60 cents to the dollar.
Yeah.
And let's just end this thing. And that's all we'll get. But, I mean, meanwhile, we got hosed thinking we were doing something different. You know, man, we believe in what we believe.
Yeah.
We believe. We believe. And we take our money and it's a change, and then all of a sudden they're like, sorry, we're going bankrupt. And we're not supposed to go bankrupt. This is crypto.
Yeah.
And so now I don't know. This whole thing gets funny because it's like, you have this promising technology, and people are. It's still somewhat tied to the old institutional thing, and then those two things get crossed, and then you have, I don't know, greed and shadiness and all this stuff, and all of a sudden, the normal people like us are the ones that get hosed, and it throws a shadow on this whole thing. people point and see, he told you
Yeah.
this is not a real thing.
Right.
This is games. It's super annoying.
Yeah.
Because I believe in it still.
Yeah.
I still think it's the future, and I think X is doing something behind the scenes to sort of be that more than just communications platform for that. I think when they institute their payment thing, I mean, Elon said, right? He said, I'm going to do it in X, what the original X is supposed to do before it became PayPal and got sold. He already had this vision, a long time ago. That's why they're called X. It's not because, he hates Twitter. He loves Twitter. It's because it's going to be something else. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
There's a giant bug right there. It must have come from outside.
For real?
I heard something from this tree, bro.
I heard something behind me.
Hey, Ayrton, why don't you come kill this bug, bro? Come on.
It looks harmless, but he's big.
And hey, this is live. And we're anyway, yeah, let's wrap this up. What else is going on? Why is Adobe Firefly trending on X? It can't be anything special. I mean, I'm seeing there's a lot of, and I'm not sure if Firefly is the right sort of tool that's doing this, but I've been seeing a lot of AI video.
Yes.
The last several weeks.
Yeah, Runway.
Runway's a good one. I played around with that one. I threw in that photo of Elon that we generated, the guitar, into it, and I just said in the prompt, like have him like look at the camera. I said like look down at the camera, look how he's playing. Mm-hmm. And it's all credit based, so I had a free account, and so I did it for about maybe 10 seconds of it, and it's not good. I mean, it didn't look like it did the thing, but when he turned, it wasn't Elon. Right? But again, maybe if I would have said this is Elon Musk, right? When he turns, like, it sure looks like. Maybe I could have been more.
You're saying the same thing about Midjourney a year ago.
But that's exactly
it. Right? Like until it wasn't, and now, people out of work.
That's exactly.
And the same thing's going to happen with.
Keep talking.
He's coming at me, man.
Keep talking.
What is that? I'm gonna snuck it. Oh!
Dead. Okay. I mean, half that. Good enough for me.
Twitching.
Sorry, folks. Technical difficulties here. Anyways.
Had to squash a bug.
Yeah.
Bug squashing.
Yeah. Anyways, that's what's going on in the land of AI. What's going on in the land of Sightbox? Like you said, we're working with a generative AI company and going through our accelerated program that we announced a month or so ago. We're stoked about that. We just finished. We're rounding the base on the brand development. And again, it's early stage, and we're doing this at this stage, and it's really game changer. We feel like because there's a lot of competition in this generative AI space, I think where we're positioning them is going to help them with their fundraising.
Yeah,
and they've already got the platform built. It's just a matter of defining their audience, the product,
tuning it too to be on brand. Like it's we're aligning the product and the brand in a really interesting way. I think that's an ideal scenario for us.
Yeah,
right? Where we're really sort of. It's not that we're sort of adding the brand to a product. We're building both at the same time. So it's really powerful.
Yeah, and the key here really is, aligning, like you said, aligning the brand with the product, which we think a lot of startups don't do. They go product heavy. A lot of them are technical co-founders, right? And the brand is an afterthought. Right. And so, what we advise early stage, growth stage, that seed, Series A startup is to really focus on the brand and the product at the same time. Have those two sort of those two teams should be in sync. Yeah. And if the startup does not have a brand person or a marketing person thinking about brand, to outsource that early on.
Yes.
We think that's going to be the game changer, especially in AI, where you're going to have a bunch of copycats and Me Too's.
Yes. Once development becomes more commoditized, which we see happening,
Yep.
the the threat of being copied is just going to become exponentially more dangerous. With the brand, though, and this is the thing, we joke about these other founders, but in each of those cases, I think part of the success in their startups was the branding component. It was they gave it something extra, right, that sort of signaled to people like a bigger vision. And what we find is a lot of founders are typically technical founders. So they understand the technology, they understand sort of how systems are built. They're really good at building. They're not great at branding. They're not great at marketing. So what happens is you have, let's say, 10 technical founders. Out of those 10, maybe 1 or 2 have some sort of gut instinct when it comes to branding, or even an affinity towards it, right? They have a passion for it. And that alone puts those startups on an entirely different trajectory. And they can hold on to those companies, they become more valuable. The problem with, I think, a lot of companies that are just tech focused is they expire too quickly. And those founders either have to they have to sell that company immediately because it's about to, be copied or come obsolete.
Yeah.
Or you're having problems scaling or hiring good people because there's no sense of vision. It's really a very sort of short-sighted product, and so we see a lot of that. So brand really does have a pivotal point, a role in success of a lot of these companies outside of the tech itself. And so that's sort of how we like to look at it. And so, for a lot of the companies we work with, especially with these early stage ones, we really want to play more of a role in dictating where that brand goes from day one.
Right.
And that earlier we're part of that conversation.
100% agree. Cool. Well, then that wraps it up. Thanks, folks.
Yes.
Catch you on the next one.